It's Maritza here on Sunny G 103.5, and my special guest today is a former Marine Sunday Times best-selling author and founder of the Nowzad Animal Charity and more recently Operation Ark. Pen Farthing, it's an absolute pleasure. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. So first of all, most important, obviously, you've been a lot in the press recently, having managed to get your staff and animals out of Afghanistan. How are you doing just now, and how are the staff and the animals doing just now?
I've heard I was in the press quite a bit, but I actually haven't seen much of it. So, yeah, when I came home, people said, "Hey, we saw you in the paper, we saw you in this one, we saw you in that," but I've never seen any of those. So, yeah, for me though, being back is kind of mixed emotions. The success of Operation Ark, getting our people and animals out of Afghanistan, that's what it was about. But because we achieved that, it also means we've left Afghanistan, and we've worked solidly since 2007 for animal welfare there, and just to leave is heartbreaking. It is truly heartbreaking. And again, the success of getting our staff out, the very people who delivered that animal welfare, has left us with a big hole that we're not doing that job in Afghanistan anymore, and through no fault of our staff, down to obviously the Taliban coming back to power, has just not destroyed what we achieved, as in because that will always stand, but it's destroyed the future of what we were doing. There's no going forward from this. So yeah, it's mixed blessings. And talking to the staff, they're now safely here in the UK, starting their resettlement and moving into an English way of life. They're not so keen on the rain at the moment, that's for sure. But I told them it was sunny Devon, and they're like, "Hang on a minute, you lied to us." But
a bit like sunny Scotland at the moment is flooding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But being English, we always thought it rained in Scotland anyway. Just to be fair, I want to point that out. So, but it's just mixed blessings. These people never wanted to leave Afghanistan, but they were forced to. Sadly, the Western governments have literally just abandoned Afghanistan, and 20 years of progress has just disappeared. There is no future for Afghan women. They won't be allowed to go to school. They won't be educated. They won't be allowed to work. And we'd given all these young women such hope for the future, equality with men. And we definitely started to achieve that. We had some of the first female Afghan nationals who are fully qualified veterinarians working at Nowzad. So we'd started that road of showing Afghan men, well, actually, women are on the same level as you, and actually some of them are better than you. So, you need to up your game, guys. And we were doing that, and not just obviously us as Nowzad, but other NGOs and other charities that were working hard for women's rights in Afghanistan. And that's just gone out the window.
And it happened so fast, didn't it? I mean, it must have been the shock of it all. I don't know if you had more warning on the ground, so to speak, but it just seemed to happen to us overnight. And
exactly. We were listening to the intelligence reports that Americans were putting out, and I'll use that, in inverted commas, intelligence reports, that we had 3 months. Yeah, we were, talking to our Afghan colleagues, and we know we have literally days. The Taliban were advancing so quickly, and it was like the whole of the Afghan military just downed tools and walked away and just blended into the countryside. And we were so shocked. 1 minute we were these great plans. We just opened. We just finished building and opened our new isolation and quarantine kennels. We've done a fundraiser earlier in the year. We started the build in March, and we opened it the day before the Taliban came into Kabul. Everything was heading in the right direction, and then suddenly the Taliban just took over the country, and that building is now just sat there empty. The isolation kennels, the quarantine kennels, they've never been used, just sitting there empty. And so to go and answer your question, which you first asked me, and sorry I've rambled, but
that's all right.
Yeah, it's I'm happy. Obviously, I'm out of Afghanistan, and I can actually freely have a beer.
Yeah.
But more importantly, the staff are safe. The animals are being taken care of, but there's so much depression about what is no longer happening. And I think that's the bigger thing, really. To be fair, we all just sit now and again, just staring at the wall, just thinking, yeah, that's all gone. Everything we worked for is gone. So, yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, no, it does. That's great. I mean, I did read somewhere that some of the people that have come over that are the vets are going to train in the UK so they can work here as vets in the UK. Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct. I never realised until this all started that actually we've got a shortage of qualified veterinarians in the UK. And so, our vets actually, they've got to meet the British standards, so they're going to have to be retrained, requalified. But once they've done that, and I've got no doubt they will do it, it's going to take various lengths of time depending on their current knowledge and experience. But they'll go straight into jobs here in the UK, so they're not going to be a drain on society. I've heard lots of people talk about Afghan refugees are going to just drain us. Well, definitely the Nowzad crew that we brought back aren't, because they're determined people, really passionate about what they do, and they're looking forward to starting life here in the UK now and actually getting stuck into supporting the people who actually help them get out. So I've no doubt within probably a year or so they'll be requalified and they'll be working in a vet practice near you as soon as they possibly can.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, where does it leave your charity though as well? Obviously, we're doing all the work out in Afghanistan. Are you still going to keep doing work over here?
Where does it leave us? I mean, we've still got our donkeys out in Kabul. We couldn't rescue them, and to be fair, we didn't want to. The Taliban don't have a problem with donkeys because they are, excuse the pun, but the workhorse of Afghanistan. So the Taliban need them as much as anybody. So, and a couple of our staff didn't want to leave their families behind. Whilst we offered and said we'll take direct family members with us, we couldn't go to the extended families. So some of them said, no, we just can't leave our families behind. So they're still working for us, looking after the donkeys, but our dog and cat program is gone. That's ended. But we've got so much experience and knowledge of working in a Islamic country for animal welfare now that I think Britain's got enough charities. You've got the RSPCA, Dogs Trust, all those kind of people, Blue Cross, and then all the independent rescues that they don't need another one here. So we'll go and do what we know we can do, and that's go to probably some Islamic country and we'll start again. Somewhere where they're desperate for a need, whether it's fighting rabies amongst the canine population or whatever it is, we'll go and get stuck into it. But it's not going to be till the new year. We want to have continue getting our staff into proper resettlement programs, sort out the remainder of our animals we rescued that need homes, and then have a break. Hopefully have a Christmas where I can literally turn my phone off and not turn it back on again for a couple of weeks, and then we'll get stuck into the new Nowzad. Where are we going to go next? And what we're going to do, and that's what's going to happen.
So the dogs and cats that you haven't yet rehomed, are you still looking for homes for them, or have you already got places?
At the moment, we've been inundated with offers for homes, but as anybody in animal rescue knows, you get offers, but they might not be suitable for the animal. It's always about the animal first, not the person who wants to give the home. So you've got to make sure the match is right. And so we're going to continue looking. At the moment, we've got some that's still in quarantine, so we never ever planned to bring this many animals to the UK in one go. Obviously, we were forced due to the Taliban coming to power. So we've had to put some of the animals, are going through a quarantine process. So once they're out, we can then start matching them with potential adopters. And we had lots of applications, but some people wanted a dog there and then or a cat right now. And we couldn't do that because our animals had to finish their quarantine protocol. So we'll be looking, and if people still want to apply, they still can. Just go to the website and click on adoptions. There's a adoptions application form there. They can fill it out and send it to us, and then we do everything as a normal rehoming charity would. So home checks and references and house visits and all that good stuff before we'll let one of our dogs or cats go into a new environment.
Fantastic. So what is your website address for anybody that might be interested in rehoming potentially?
Anybody, they can just visit nowzad, NOWZAD.com. And then it needs updating. The front page still says we're rescuing animals in Afghanistan, because I just have not had the time to sit there and change it. But I will get that updated. It's on my to-do list for Sunday. So I'm looking at trying to get our website back up to speed with what's happened and what's gone on, because it's just been absolutely crazy since we came back.
Sounds like it. And you were saying that earlier you were saying that you might be coming to Glasgow for to be on a panel for the COP26 summit. Is that right?
Absolutely, yeah. Scotland is one of my favourite places to go in the winter for a start, because I'm a climber, so I love coming up there when you've got a good cover in the snow and go climbing. But for this time, I'm going to be coming up for the COP26. I'm talking on Sunday at a conference and panel about climate change, but animal welfare, and obviously the issues we have with trying to work on animal welfare, but also look at the climate as well at the same time. So hopefully I'll travel up sometime mid next week, and I'm looking to, if I can, see if I can, myself and my wife, we can just crack the Ben in a day, stand on top of Ben Nevis. She's never done that before, so we'll try and run up and down that and then get to the summit on the Sunday.
So what do you plan to say at the summit? What do you think is important to do with animal welfare and climate change?
For me, there's so many issues around that, and I'm probably not going to be on the same bus as a lot of people. And I understand that Britain's trying to lead the way in climate change with some of the initiatives they're bringing forward. But I always look at it from the other side of the fence. And so when you've been to a place like Afghanistan, climate change isn't even on the radar. People can't even think about what's going to happen tomorrow. It's a hand-to-mouth society. No one has savings. No one has the spare capacity to do things like pay for an insulation or use solar power or underfloor heating to try and reduce their carbon footprint. So for me, I'm very much about what we should actually be doing to help these countries. And sadly, Afghanistan, one of the worst countries I've ever seen in the world for the way that plastic is just discarded and used without a care. And we have literally just abandoned that country. So, we can do all we want here in England, but we're such a tiny, or in the UK, I should say, we're such a tiny country. What we do is not going to affect climate change with the rest of the world. And places like Afghanistan will continue to just pump out the plastic, and it'll end up, I saw every day people just throw plastic and rubbish into Kabul River, which eventually flows into Pakistan, which then flows into the sea. It's something that we need to look at really seriously. But if we've just abandoned the country, how can we affect change? It's crazy. So that's, again, my long-winded answer.
That's
the kind of things I'll be talking about, whilst I'm there.
It sounds like there's
to shut up, I'm sure.
It sounds like there's no easy answers, and I suppose it's good that everyone's talking, but what really needs to happen is action that actually makes a change and has an effect. I suppose, though, it's good to have the conversation and get all these different points of view, like from yourself and a lot of other perspectives.
I think you're right. Yeah, I mean, if you've got to talk about it, but all I ever really see, and I think probably what puts a lot of people off, is taxation, and the fact that, okay, we're putting a plastic bag tax on. We're going to add X amount of tax to diesel if you don't change to an electric car. And that's all well and good, but it will put people off. And where I live here, down here in sunny Exeter and Devon, well, you've got to have electric cars by whenever it's going to be, I think 2030. Well, we need to come up with one hell of a plan about how we're going to charge these electric cars, because in the street I live in, there's no off-road parking. There's no space. Where do you put an electric meter? So how do people get from A to B, which they need to do for work? So I think a lot of people are scared about it, because no one's actually told them, well, this is the way. Just, you know, just news headlines. Everybody's to drive an electric car by 2030. Brilliant. Well, where's the actual detail in that? So I think that's probably where I'm going to be going, and I like detail. You know, I want to know the ins and outs of it. I don't want to just be told, well, that's a headline, you're going to do it. No, thanks. I'd like to know how am I going to do this.
Yeah, it's getting
what's your ideas behind it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you must keep us updated. I'm sure we will hear all about what you're saying at the COP26 summit as well. But definitely keep in touch with us. Again, give us the website address one more time for anyone that'd be interested to learn more about your charity and what you do.
Yeah, they can follow us on nowzad.com, NOWZAD, or on Twitter and Instagram. We're at Nowzad Rescue. So just if they use that as the, I think it's the handle. I'm not actually sure. Is that what you call it? The handle? But yeah, at Nowzad Rescue. Or they can find me at Pen Farthing. So
brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. We will definitely be keeping in touch and hearing how it's all going with Nowzad. Thank you very much, Pen Farthing.
No, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.